Welcome back to Don't Die with Doc, and what's trying to kill us this week? Why, it's our good friend the sun. Why has Sky Daddy altered his cancer caress to be, overly hot over the eastern bit of the United States? Probably because we keep ignoring that whole climate thing. But, God did it. This is a heat dome. We have a heat dome. And I want you to understand that at, the dumbest level possible. You are a meat computer. You are water cooled. Much like our good rock computers have their water cooling, your veins move through you a sludgy liquid full of really important bits and bobs and oxygen. But importantly for us, it takes heat with it. It takes heat from where you're generating it in all the bits of you, like your brain and heart, that are moving around and shooting electricity. And it takes that waste heat from your computer, from your CPU and your power supply, and it takes it closer to the skin. And the veins vasodilate, they get bigger. Vein, vasodilate, bigger, wider, I guess, larger circle. It does that close to the skin so that you can radiate the heat off, both as a bioluminescent glow that you unfortunately cannot see, and also infrared radiation. But also if you touch things to it, the water is now closer. So if you apply ice, it's applying ice to the water-cooled system. Now, the way you get that is by putting more water and electrolytes into you to replenish it in your blood, because your blood is becoming sweat and pee. If you're sweating a lot and not peeing, that should be an indicator to you that you have not topped off the tank. You need more water, preferably unfiltered, unless you live in a place in which you can't have a filtered water. I'm not going to do all those conditions here. You should drink water that has some kind of electrolytes in it, or coconut water, or one of the haloids, or just make sure that you have salt and dairy or leafy greens. You need salt, calcium, potassium, magnesium. Those are the 4 big ones. You get them through your diet, and they're trace amounts in water, unless you filter it. Blah, blah, blah. Water in. Sweat out. Pee out. Sweat is pee? Technically, does have uric acid in it. Is pee sweat? Both are filtered blood, which is weird when you think about that. Now that we have this in our minds, let's talk about SSRIs. They increase your heat risk. How? By affecting the hypothalamus, which doesn't really fit into our analogy. Yes, it does, because it's in the CPU, and it's changing the rate at which your CPU is doing something, in this case, regulating temperature. But in the way that fits back into that analogy in a much prettier way, it affects your ability to sweat. It's affecting your ability to get that water cooling to the surface of your skin so that you can have the evaporation, which cools you off. So you need to take extra precautions, because not only is your CPU not regulating your temperature as effectively, but your water cooling is also not working as effectively. So what do? We take cold and we put it on ourselves or in ourselves. We want to take the places where our liquid cooling system is closest to the skin, like our hands or our armpits or our neck or our feet or our crotch. That one's probably a last resort. People keep asking me if cooling vests work. Yes. Putting cold on you will cool you down. That's conduction. It's like, we don't need to overcomplicate any of this. Hot and cold both long to be warm. And if you touch hot to cold, both of them will do their darndest to both just be warm. So if you take cold, like a cooling vest, and put it on yourself, then your body will shift towards warm as opposed to hot. This is the same thing that in the cold. If you're too cold and you put on hot, you move to warm. Much like the wet of your sweat longs for Sky Daddy, so too does the hot long to be warm. Unless you're on SSRIs. And then you have changed the little man inside of you who regulates that. And you're not as good at doing it. So extra precautions for you. Or stimulants. Or anything that changes the engine of your body. Stimulants stimulate. They make thing go faster. That makes the inside of you hotter. Same if you're taking anything. Like caffeine that increases the amount that's also a diuretic. Or if you're on diuretics. Diuretic means make kidney go more. You're peeing more. What have we learned about earlier? Your pee is blood and sweat. You need to keep all this. It's simple. Just water in, water out. Water comes out as waste, and it comes out all over your skin. And you just pay attention to those 2 things. Have you stopped sweating? That's really bad. And you don't need to be given like a complicated, well, this is how heat stroke works. It's like, no, You understand now because your liquid cooling system is gone and you're not sweating. So what do we like? We know we need more liquid, right? Preferably long before we get there. Heat exhaustion, we can understand that. The liquid cooling system isn't doing enough to keep the CPU cold, so it starts to get tired and irritable. Heat cramps are because the electrolytes that you need aren't getting to the muscles, so they start to cramp. Heat stroke is that you've run so low on your liquid cooling that you've stopped sweating, and then you start to have personality changes, if not full losses of consciousness, seizures. Now we understand the underlying mechanism of why. Because you're a meat computer. A meat computer with an open cooling system that is constantly needing to be replenished and, I wanted to say exsanguinated, which is when you bleed out, but that's hopefully not the case. That's a totally other episode of Don't Die with Doc. Anyway, stay cool. Try not to let Sky Daddy kill you. This has been Don't Die with Doc.